Okay, so today we're going to set up as the Hawaii series. We got 3 episodes, 3 very different stories, and the final story is the grand finale of the whole thing. So you got to stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel so you know when these videos come out. But the first of which that we're going to tell today is how I got to Hawaii in the first place. And that story starts a decade ago when I went to Mexico to visit a friend. Visit an old friend of mine. Her name is Tanya. She introduced me to this beautiful Mexican woman named Christian, who later became my wife. We were together for 9 years. She became Cheetah. That became her nickname. And we had a really great relationship. And we traveled all over the world. We went to Brazil, we went to Peru, we went to Chile, we went to Machu Picchu, we went to Mexico so many times. Y por eso yo aprendí a hablar en español. Y ha ido a México como 20 veces. And in January of this year, we were in Mexico, and we were guiding a group of paraglide pilots on a paragliding trip, and we were in Colima, and we had been having some problems for about a month. I had noticed she was a little unhappy with me, but it wasn't too crazy. And one day in Mexico, about 4 days into this trip, she told me that she wanted a divorce, and that really hurt. That really hurt. And it hurt so much, actually, that it took a long time to fully accept how much that hurt. And so initially I think I just was mad. And it took me a long time to realize how much that hurt and how much of my self I had invested in that and how much identity I had in that relationship. But after the trip, I left Mexico and she stayed. About a month and a half later, I was talking to my friend Chris Hoyte. He was on the trip to Mexico, and I confided in him. And about a month and a half after the trip, I went to Maui to visit him, decompress, have some me time. And I took a bunch of slackline webbing and my paraglider, and I figured that we would just go full throttle adventure mode on Maui in a way that Maui had never seen before. Got to the island, used my connections with my friend Maui Chris, who is a great slackliner and friend, and he connected me with this other Chris Arndt. Wow, do we really have 3 Chris's? Chris Taylor, Chris Arndt, and Chris Hoyte. Wow, that's annoying. Chris Arndt is a motivated slackliner on the island, and we put our 2 pieces of webbing together, and bam, we had a Highline rig that we could do like 500 feet with. So Chris Hoyte lives on Maui, and he had seen this Blacksand Beach, the potential for a Highline to go there, and so that's where we headed first off. And when we got there, my mind was just blown. Just a beautiful beach, just this most incredible little alcove with a black sand beach below. But we noticed a couple things right off the bat. One, we noticed that it was very windy. It was also overcast. But we smelled something just putrid, just disgusting. And soon enough, we noticed that there was a dead cow bobbing around in the surf, getting pounded on the shore, and he was just so bloated. He was so bloated that his arms and legs stuck out like this. He looked fake. And he was so bloated that the pressure inside of him made his tongue stick out like this. And it also made his ball sack stick out, and it looked like a fifth leg. It was so disgusting. And of course, Chris Hoyte is a disgusting young child inside and wanted to try to pop the cow, so he threw a big rock at it, but it didn't pop. But anyway, we got to rigging. Okay, so to rig this line, we basically throw a line down from each side, and then we go down to the beach and we tie the two lines together and pull them up, and those are just thin like pieces of paracord. And then from there we use the paracord to pull the webbing across, and then we tension it, and bam, we got a high line, right? Both of the anchors are onto pretty dense vegetation that's on the edge of a really steep cliff, and so we just use span sets and wrap them around the trees, and the line goes out of the vegetation, which is kind of a funky setup to highline, but it's really cool. As you can see in the footage, the wind is just whipping. It's just totally cranking. And it kind of has some big gusts in it, and the gusts kind of leave you swinging on the line. It's just very difficult. It's a very difficult to walk. So this line was quite a challenge. The footage was shot by Emanuel, my friend, Chris Hoyte, and Chris Taylor, so thanks guys for filming. What a beautiful highline. We just had it up for one day. Just rigged it, walked it, took it down, and then we were late to picking up our next friend from the airport, which was great. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Look forward to showing you the next video in the series, which is about the tree highline.